After a shaky start to his NBA career, Ja'Kobe Walter has really started to show out on court for the Raptors. And as the team potentially heads towards a tank, what can we really expect from the rookie for the rest of the season and beyond? Let's get into it. This is Amateur Sports, the YouTube channel dedicated to Toronto Raptors content and videos like this, as well as live features on the channel. Drop a like if you enjoy along the way, subscribe for more content like it, and shop the merch. We've got hats in black. I'm wearing the black here. We've also got white hats and shirts. Use the Kijiji link in the description to message and acquire your merch today with some very fast shipping. And we'll jump into things here about Ja'Kobe Walter, because even though the Raptors are struggling, they've been losing games. Was it 4 losses in a row now? They're 7-19 on the season. There are still bright spots within the team, and one of the brighter spots in the last couple of weeks has definitely been the play of recent 19th overall pick rookie shooting guard Ja'Kobe Walter. He even had a little bit of starts this season, getting some good experience, but he has really started to take on some good strides for the Raptors. And this is after the player struggled out the gates, like really struggled to adapt to life in the NBA with maybe the pace, with the range of shooting, and also dealing with injuries. That's all turned around. But let's go back to the beginning where the Raptors selected Ja'Kobe Walter with that 19th overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Now, I cover the draft extensively on this channel on a year-to-year basis, and I was quite fond of Ja'Kobe Walter's game as a player who was 19 years old going into the draft, had a lot of potential, had even more potential really going into his college season with Baylor. Didn't play necessarily as expected, but there was optimism about his abilities. There was some good numbers here. The efficiency was what was concerning. So even though he averaged 14.5 points per game, a field goal percentage down at 37.6 and a three-point percentage down at 36. Kind of left a bit to be desired for somebody who was branded, and I would brand as such as well, as a 3-and-D sort of shooting guard. But definitely had scoring capabilities, and the Raptors saw that. That's why they wanted to select him with the 19th overall pick. Personally, I thought that he had a lottery pick potential, but something came to me on the day of the draft, like in my head, where a guy who I always thought had lottery pick prowess, I just saw a reality in which he could fall to the Raptors, which was exciting. So my final mock draft heading into the 2024 draft, look, I didn't get a lot right with this mock draft, but one of the things I did get right was the Raptors' selection with the 19th overall pick, and seeing as I cover the Raptors on this channel, that's the one I wanted to get right the most. Ended up pegging it correctly. So even though I felt like he is a player who had lottery pick ability, I saw the way in which he could have fallen to the Raptors, and I'm very grateful and very thankful that he did, because I think he is a terrific player. And now he is starting to show it to you guys as well, because initially there were some concerns from the fan base about Ja'Kobe Walter's game. He started this season where, look, he had injuries in preseason, then he came into the fray, got injured again, but when he did have those first initial appearances for the Raptors, there was really inefficient games where he struggled to score. He wasn't playing his best on defense either. He just wasn't really affecting the game from a positive standpoint. So he spent some time briefly in the G League where he was balling. Had some outstanding performances in the G League right away. Raptors brought him back up to their NBA team, started to start him amidst all the injuries. He was playing well there, not getting starter level minutes, but he was starting games, getting above 20 minutes per game for a stretch, and was playing good basketball. And this hasn't exactly translated into statistically great basketball, I will admit here. For Ja'Kobe Walter this season, in 19 minutes per game, he's averaging 7 points and 36% shooting from the field, 22% shooting from three. But Ja'Kobe Walter and the good signs that I'm trying to go through here are beyond these statistics. It's from watching the games and seeing what he's actually producing on the court, because I liken a lot of what I'm seeing from Ja'Kobe Walter this season to what we saw last season from Gradey Dick. And we know how much Gradey Dick improved over the course of that season. And we know how much Gradey Dick has improved to start this season, the way he's playing for the Raptors this season. It's very exciting the way Gradey Dick looks, and I think there should be excitement about the way Ja'Kobe Walter is starting to produce for the Raptors. Naturally, for a player like this, who was late lottery, mid-first round pick, especially like 19 years old getting drafted, there's definitely going to be some concerns about efficiency. There's definitely going to be some sort of a learning curve when it comes to efficiency, at least usually for a player of this age. But he's a very young player, and the biggest sign that I'm excited about is the decision-making. Like when he's out there on the floor for the Raptors, he is making the right decisions. He is playing the game the right way, playing the game within himself. And there's just those flashes of brilliance that go in there with it, which makes me excited. Like, think about last season with Gradey Dick, because, earlier this season with Ja'Kobe Walter, we saw a few games from him where he was struggling, and fans were like, who the hell did we draft here? Is this a bust or what? what's going on. I would never count a player out after like 3 or 4 games into their career, but naturally with this fan base, it can get a little reactionary sometimes. That was definitely the case for Jacoby Walter this season, and maybe even more so the case last year with Gradey Dick. Think about Gradey Dick. It took him really half a season to get his feet under him and really start producing at a higher level, because out the gate for the Raptors, he could not knock down threes. And the people who looked at simple scouting reports and saw, okay, the Raptors drafted a shooter, Gradey Dick, with a 13th overall pick of the 2023 NBA entry draft. He's not shooting the ball well. We drafted this guy to be a shooter. He's not shooting the ball well. From watching the games, you saw all the decision-making was in the right places, and you saw that he was taking good shots. They just weren't falling. Was it just adjusting to the range of the NBA three-point line compared to the college three-point line? Was it just getting accustomed to playing with a new team? Well, whatever it was, my opinions were, here's a guy making all of the right decisions, and the shot's just not falling. So if you're telling me that the only thing separating this guy from being a good player in the NBA is knocking down three-point shots, which he has done at every level of basketball for his entire life, like he's been a good three-point shooter everywhere he's ever been playing basketball before, you're telling me that guy's not going to be able to figure out his three-point shot? I think we're going to be fine. But it took Gradey Dick some time. Struggled out the gate in the NBA shooting, went down to the G League where he also struggled. Like, the early days with 905, like, there was some really inefficient games for Gradey Dick. Like, less than a year ago, a guy struggling to be efficient in the G League, now producing fantastic levels in the NBA. So why I'm comparing Gradey Dick a lot to Jacoby Walter for this video here is that it took Gradey Dick quite a while to start showing the flashes and then becoming more efficient. Now, Jacoby Walter isn't at that efficient level yet. However, he is much further along at this point, early to mid-December. He is much further along in his process compared to what Gradey Dick was doing last season. So if you had the ability, and people didn't, but if you had the ability to be patient with Gradey Dick's game, I think you have to be even less patient for Jacoby Walter, because those signs are coming earlier for him. Those good levels, those good performances are starting to come earlier for him than they were coming for Gradey Dick. Jacoby Walter went down to the G League, hit the ground running, fantastic performances. Raptors said, bring this guy back up. That is an NBA caliber player, and have given him the play time as such. And for the rest of the season here for the Raptors, I suspect a lot of these numbers will continue to grow, especially amidst what could be a tank for the Raptors. Again, they've lost 4 games in a row here, maybe a couple easier games on the horizon, but Scotty Barnes is out injured. He's going to be out several weeks. Emmanuel quickly remains out. Maybe he'll be back soon, but there's no need to rush him back. Bruce Brown, I feel like, probably would be healthy enough to play if it was a competitive team right now, but they're in no rush to get him back. The Raptors, I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost ready to say I am certain of it at this point. Will tank at some point this season, and a lot of the play time will move in the direction of guys like Jacoby Walter and other rookies on the team like Jonathan Mobo, who is, by the way, Jonathan Mobo, 9th in the recent NBA rookie ladder. That's great to see. Could Jacoby Walter end up on that list at some point this season? Potentially. He is getting the play time. He just needs to instill more confidence in the coaching staff. I think he's already should have been able to do that, but the coaching staff still like not wanting to play him in late game settings. I hope at some point that changes. Like the recent game against the New York Knicks, Jacoby Walter, career night for the Raptors, 19-point game. Doesn't play in the final stretches of the game despite having a really good game, like that sort of thing. Just to put that confidence in the coaching staff to play him in those big-time fourth-quarter settings. And the play time is improving, the trust is improving, and the on-court product for Walter is improving. This was a fantastic selection by the Toronto Raptors with the 19th overall pick. I think you could say that's about any player that you draft. Like you draft him 19, you said, oh, I would have had him going 13, 14, 15. We're so happy to get him at 19. You know, you go to Gradey Dick. Oh, we got him at 13. Oh, wow. We thought he was going to end up at 8, 9, 10. You can say it's about any player, but seriously, maybe even more so in the case of Jacoby Walter. This was a player I thought should have been picked in the lottery. The fact that teams passed on him is fantastic news for Toronto, and he is starting to show why that was such fantastic news and why I was so happy about that selection when it happened with the way he is playing this season. So, as far as a rookie is concerned, look, this is probably a great situation to be in. It's pretty clear that they're working really well with this rookie class and what was considered to be a bad draft class. The Raptors seem to have found some really good rookies out of this class, be it the 19th overall pick, Jacoby Walter, be it the 31st overall pick, Jonathan Mobile, the 45th overall pick, Jamal Shead, or the 57th overall pick, Ulrich Shamshay. Hell, even an undrafted player, Jameson Battle, is getting regular NBA minutes and playing really well for the Raptors. So the rookie class seems to be going extremely well for the Raptors, and perhaps a guy not playing the top of those guys at the moment, but who has the furthest way to go and the most potential is 20-year-old Jacoby Walter, already showing signs that he is ahead of schedule and he's ahead of what Gradey Dick was producing last season. There are very good signs about Jacoby Walter's future with the Raptors and the NBA. I'm really excited to see where it goes this season and for the future. So, what's your excitement level? Does it match mine? Give me your thoughts and opinions on Jacoby Walter in the comments down below. That's all for today's video. Drop a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more content just like it. Check out the member-exclusive video game playthrough stream for Dead Space going live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, Friday, December 13th. And check out Amateur merch with the link in the description. Support the show. Get some dope stuff in return. All the people who have bought the merch, comment on the quality of the product. I'm putting a lot of care into this stuff, and I know you'll like it if you do go through with it. See you again next time for another video.